Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage, and I am here for another interview with Nicole Solari. What's up, Nicole?
Hello, good morning.
Well, you have been rocking it out in the Mortgage Coach community, and everybody in Mortgage Coach community is talking about the interview you did with Bill Hart. And I just interviewed you this week, getting lots of feedback on that. And there's questions that have come out. So for anybody that didn't watch those interviews, there'll be links below. Like you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link to the Bill Hart interview. That was an interview where Bill interviewed Nicole for other realtors. And then there's an interview that I did where I had watched that interview and I said, hey, you know what? Let's do an interview for loan officers so they can get the most value out of this. So both of those are below. So Nicole, you closed 191, sold 191 homes last year. Sounds like you're on pace to double that this year.
Yeah.
And from our interview, it really came out that open houses was a big deal when you first started, and it's still a big deal within your team. So could you describe that a little bit? Like, what is your open house strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So open houses was definitely the springboard to get me from 0 to 191 in less than 3 years. And like you said, it's still huge on our team. Every single team member is required to do at least 2 open houses a week to keep their leads on. And we are super strategic about how we do the open houses. Not saying that you can't just out of the blue drive around a neighborhood, set up on a vacant house if you have signs in the back of your car and impromptu do one. But at least 2 a week should be very, very strategic and marketed very, very well.
So did everybody hear that? She went from new to a market, no database, in her 20s, and went from 0 database, clients, and open house was cornerstone of the strategy. So I think that's a huge takeaway that I took from that. How many folks out of the people that come through your open houses, what percentage of them do you and your team get contact information from?
We're pretty close to 100% that we get contact information from. I mean, we have so many scripts that we use to be able to capture their information. And it's actually their actual phone number and their actual email, not like fu@fu.com. It's their actual email addresses and phone numbers. And I can go through a couple of those scripts if you'd like.
Oh yeah, we definitely want to go through those scripts. That was like in my big interview, I talked about your conversion, but I didn't talk about phone numbers. And so we're going to get to that. I do want to set the table. What percentage of the people that you get contact with that come through your open houses do you bring into home ownership within 6 months? Like, what is your conversion percentage?
Yeah, so it varies throughout the year, but on the average, somewhere between 30 and 40% from open houses alone. And we actually choose not to work with some people. If they come through our open house and they're a big, we choose to not follow up with them. We value our time, and I prize my agents and tell them to prize their time and make sure that they're working with people that they want to be working with. So we could probably bump that number up.
So check that out, everybody. They're getting contact information from almost everybody, and then they are converting a very large percent of those folks into home ownership. So let's do some scripting. What are some conversations that you have that help you get the information? And I know there's also some technology that you use. Let's talk about the scripts, and let's talk about the tech that you're using at the open houses.
Yeah, perfect. So I kind of gauge the body language and the demeanor of the person when they walk in. If they're super standoffish, I go with more of a script that's comes from the sellers. So it's more of a safety type script. So, hey, welcome to the open house. If you don't mind, there's an iPad laying right there. The seller has asked before anybody go any further that they sign in for safety purposes. If you could go ahead and sign that in, and then it'll actually give you more information about the home right on your cell phone too.
Boom, that's the safety script.
That's the safety script. If they're kind of like, they walk in, they look like they just put sour candy in their face and they're like, eh. That's the script for that one. Otherwise, if they walk in, they've got kids running around and they just seem like happy people, I actually leverage my loan officer, and my loan officer usually brings something that we auction off, and it's usually a nice bottle of wine, and we have the wine sitting there, and we say, hey, welcome to the open house. If you wouldn't mind signing in, my loan officer here has graciously donated a bottle of wine to one lucky winner today. And then also when you sign in on the iPad, you're going to get on your mobile device, you'll get a little bit more information about the house. So let me know if you have any questions.
Boom. So, I mean, I love that. You've got the, standoffish safety script. You've got the happy people, cool people script. And so between those two, you're getting signature, you're getting information. I love the way you're integrating your loan officer. We're fortunate because Jeremy Forcier, top mortgage coach loan officer, is the one who referred you to me, and you guys work together. And so you know our total cost analysis and how we're helping people make informed mortgage decisions. How are you integrating that into the open house experience and getting people into that total cost analysis conversation?
Yeah, it's awesome actually. So you think about going to an open house, you've got flyer boxes and paper everywhere, more information about the home and what loan programs you can qualify for. What's so awesome about having our loan officers there with us is that they can show them in real time on their device what kind of programs that they can get into. And sometimes people come through and they're renting and they don't even believe that they can be a homeowner. They're just kind of looky-loos. And then we capture their information, get a little bit about them, their income, their debts. Right there on the iPad, they can see what they can qualify for. And most people are actually surprised what they can afford.
Yeah, so by the way, takeaway for everybody, they're using an iPad to help capture leads, to deliver value, and to educate about mortgage options, whether that's a move-up home buyer or whether that's a first-time home buyer. By the way, that's another big deal. I'd be curious, in your markets and the open houses you do, what percent are first-time buyers versus move-up buyers?
Yeah, we were seeing a lot of first-time home buyers about a year or two ago. We're seeing a lot more move-up home buyers, a lot of contingent home buyers right now, just because the market is so good. People now have equity in their home and they're moving up or downsizing. A lot of older, I shouldn't even say older, just a lot of empty nesters are deciding to downsize to those desirable single stories. So we're kind of seeing a switch right now from what used to be very first-time home buyer market to more of a contingent buyer home market.
Yeah, and by the way, reminder to all Mortgage Coach members, that move up analysis where you're showing people, hey, if you move up, look at how much more you could build wealth faster with the total cost analysis. So whether it's a first-time buyer or a move-up buyer, there is a great iPad conversation to have to help that family make an informed decision. So we talked about it in the main interview, but I want to have you, one, repeat it, and two, maybe you'll say it differently this time. When you think of loan officers and the best way they can support realtors at open houses, what are your suggestions? What are the things that every loan officer should do to help an agent with an open house?
Yeah. So I always lead with put my signs out, put my directionals out for me. That's the worst part about an open house is fighting that traffic and hoping that you don't get killed running across the median. Put your open house signs strategically in the most busy intersection in town. So that's first and foremost. Also, we talked about bringing something of value to encourage visitors to sign in. So whether it's a bottle of wine or a box of chocolate or a gift card, whatever it is, bring that item of value. And I mentioned before, maybe your loan officer shows that he has one bottle of wine, but really he's going to donate 6 bottles of wine because you want to follow up with all 6 people who came through the open house who were really, really good leads. And so 6 people could win that one bottle of wine. And that's something awesome that the lenders can add value. And then just being there to add on to the conversation. I'm an expert at what I do, which is buying and helping people buy and sell homes. And the loan officer is really good with what they do, which is helping people get the funds to buy those homes. So just having them there to add value to that conversation and show that partnership is super important.
Love that. I do want to remind Mortgage Coach community, when it comes to items of value, check with your compliance department. Make sure that you're doing it in a proper way, a compliant way. We want to partner with agents. We want to help families. We want to take a family, help them make an informed decision, but we want to do it right. So make sure you check with your compliance team on that. Okay, and by the way, I thought that was a big takeaway of the open houses. By the way, everybody watching this, I would love to know, one, how many open houses you're doing. What is your conversion? The agents that you work with, what percent are you getting contact information from? What percent are you getting into a mortgage, or if you're a realtor, into a home? Put that in comments below. We want to know how you're doing in the market. And if you also have more ideas or you have more questions for Nicole, because I have a feeling I will be interviewing Nicole again. If you have questions for Nicole or big ideas, put those in comments below. Let's help each other as a Mortgage Coach community. So Nicole, what are some of the mistakes you see agents doing out there in the open house land what are some of the biggest mistakes you see out there?
The stalkers, I call them the stalkers, the people that are literally the shadows, and they follow you around and they're like, hey, do you have a question? Hey, do you have a question? And did you see this? Did you see that? I think people really, really enjoy the lackadaisical approach, the more friendly approach. I mean, usually someone that's coming through your open house has gone to 6 or 7 other open houses that day, and you've just got to make yourself stand out and make them want to work with you above the 6 or 7 other agents that they've come across or will come across that day. So don't stalk them. Don't, follow them around the house and make them feel really uncomfortable. You want them to stay in the house as long as possible, because the longer they stay, the better chance you have of converting them.
So be cool.
Be cool.
Be cool. Be calm, and connect with people. I mean, if you really come with the heart of a teacher and the heart of someone that's serving families, you'll be a lot better off.
Yeah.
Now, I remember that you have a lot of ideas and strategies on how you promote open houses, how you get people to even come through it. If you don't mind just covering that, we might have to do a part 2 on that. But walk us through some of the things that agents and mortgage coach professionals can do to just get more families through the open house.
Yeah. So you want as many people through that open house as possible, because when you look busy, you kind of prize yourself. And I teach my agents all the time to prize yourself. You want people to want to work with you because you are the best. You're the best person out there, and have that mindset. And so what we do is we try to fill that open house. And so we invite all the neighbors. So we do the neighbor preview. So before the open house, which is also something that we ask our lenders to help us with doing, is we door knock the neighborhood. And we do that strategically. So usually if you're doing it on your own, it takes you about an hour. If you ask your lender to split up the database, then you can probably knock it out in half an hour. And you're going to invite those neighbors to come through, and you're going to tell them that it's a special neighbor preview. It's not, but you're going to tell them that. You're going to tell them we're doing an open house down the street at your neighbor Joe's house. I don't know if you know Joe, but he just listed. Great price. We expect it to be extremely busy. So what we're going to do from 12 to 1 is have a neighbor only preview. I hope you can come by.
Boom. I like that. That's a cool script. Anything else that would be quick hits? And by the way, lenders, did you catch that? Put up the signs, be willing to do the work, knock on doors. Listen, if you need some inspiration around doing the work, listen to the call I did with Josh Metal called Doing the Work with Josh Metal. Do the work, get out there. Okay, we've got an iPad. So the lender should have their own iPad. You and your team have an iPad. Lender, you should have the total cost analysis on there. And you should have MindEst if you are part of our MindEst launch team. What do you guys have on your mobile devices? What are the technology and tools that you and your agents are using?
So we have 3 big ones, actually 4 big ones. We have the Open House Sign-In app, which I can show you, and ours is through Commissions Inc., but there's some free ones out there. The important part is to capture the information. Doesn't matter how sexy, how cool it looks. You just want something that's going to capture information, and you can have on inside technology. And then we also use Title 123, which I love. It's a Fidelity app. So anybody that has Fidelity in their marketplace, whether it's Fidelity Home Warranty or Fidelity Escrow or Fidelity Title, you can get this from your rep. And I think other title companies have them as well. I can just show you real quick. It's what I use when I'm farming my area, and also what I use when I'm door knocking. So I don't know how well people can see my iPad, and it's actually my kid's iPad, so excuse the fingerprints. But when I'm just going to hit this button right here that says near me, and it's going to bring up where I am. So this is my neighborhood, and you see all those little red dots. Those are all my neighbors. And if I were to click on one of the red dots, it gives me their assessor parcel number, which is their tax ID. And then I click more info, and what it's going to bring up for me is all of their information. So I can literally when they open the door, I can say, "Hi, Mr. Savage, I'm Nicole Solari," and they're probably gonna be like, "Oh, how do you know my name?" Like, "Oh, it's it's public information, not to freak you out or anything. But I was just noticing that you bought your house 6 years ago for a really good price. Do you know how much equity you have in your home based on the home that's for sale down the street?" And it's a really good tool to use to be able to say, they probably don't know that they are sitting on $200,000 of equity, and if they were to sell with you today, they could walk away and become a move-up buyer. But all that information is right there. It tells you how much they owe on their loan, how much equity they have, and it's all right here on my iPad. as I'm walking.
You love that. You love that, Nicole. So we've got your Commissions Inc. Open house lead capture. It's also sending something of value about the house. You've got that app. You've got the Mortgage Coach app, because I know Jeremy loops you in so that you know the mortgage options. Hopefully we're going to get the My Nest app on there. Any other apps that you have on your device that you use within the open house experience?
Yeah, so I also use NetSheets. So I don't have it on this particular iPad, but when someone wants to know how much is it going to cost me to buy or sell a house, you can quickly run those numbers. And my mortgage coach kind of does a good job of that too. It requires you to put in a little bit less information and get a quick snapshot without having to go through the whole parsing of information in. So any tools that you can have where you can look like the expert is going to make you stand out. If you can literally type in, if you sold your home for $420,000 tomorrow and you bought this home, this is what your payment will look like, and here's all the costs associated with buying and selling a home, bottom line, at the end of the day. They're going to prize you. You're going to be awesome. You're going to be their new best friend. They're going to think that you're like a genius.
I love it. So folks, I'm going to title this call, the modern open house experience with Nicole Solari. Notice it requires an iPad on site. It requires clarity on scripting. What are you going to say to just not say they're unfriendly, but the person that's not smiling and, hey, what's up? You've got that script, security script. You've got cool person script. You've got the total cost analysis so that you can help a first-time buyer create urgency. You can help a move-up buyer get clarity. Wow. And by the way, I want everybody, if you have apps that you're using, if you have strategies that you have, if you have future questions for Nicole, put them in comments below. If you like this conversation, like it and share it. So in the mortgage industry, if you are a manager, I recommend you do a sales meeting around this call. And if you're not a leader, share this with a mortgage friend. Let's get the word out. Let's do more open houses. Hey, one last question, Nicole. I just remembered it came up in our main interview, but you're not just doing open houses on weekends, Saturday and Sunday. If you wouldn't mind just going through the list of the different types of open houses that you're doing, just to inspire folks to, it doesn't have to be Saturday.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Saturday and Sunday. Remember, when you're doing open houses on Saturday and Sunday, the entire real estate community is doing open houses on Saturday and Sunday. So we, in our market, schools in this area on Wednesdays, which school's out right now, but during the school year, schools on Wednesday get out at noon, and so I used to do what's called Wacky Wednesdays. So a lot of parents picking their kids up at noon, find a home nearby a school, plop your open house sign right there in front of the pickup line, and you will drive so much traffic to your open house. So Wacky Wednesdays is awesome. Whatever day, call your school board, find out whatever day is early release. Usually it is at least once a week. We also do Twilight open houses, usually like on a Thursday, because Thursday is the new Friday, or Fridays, and we serve hors d'oeuvres and champagne and say, come by for a happy hour Twilight open house. And we get people who are coming home from work who are super tired, and maybe they were going to go home and look at their Redfin app, but instead they can stop by our open house and have a little bit of champagne.
I love that. And Nicole, you're going to be speaking at an Inman conference coming up. And I'm an advocate. I went to my first Inman conference this year in New York, and it was an awesome event. I mean, it was like, the only thing that I was disappointed with was there wasn't more lenders there. I'm like, some of the best realtors in America are there. They believe in advice. They believe in being coaches. And they also believe in using tech. They use technology to be better advisors. So when is that event? And Mortgage Coach members, sign up. Go to an Inman conference and check out Nicole and some of the best agents in the market. But when is that, Nicole?
It's so funny you asked me that last time and I forgot, and now I forgot again. But if you just go to the Inman San Francisco, you'll be able to find it. And I agree with you. There's not a lot of lenders there. And the people who are attending Inman from a real estate standpoint, they're your disruptors. They're your innovators. They're the people who embrace technology and want to partner with lenders. I know that there's some old school mentality out there of, hey, I don't want to tie myself to one lender. That's not who's at Inman. These people are forward thinkers, and they're just like me, and they're just like you, and there's not a lot of lenders there. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and one last caveat. So lenders, I'm not telling you to go there to be an annoying loan officer trying to recruit realtors. While you might have some good, authentic conversations that turn into relationships, you're there to make yourself better. You're there so that you're smarter, you know what the agent disruptors are learning, and you're able to bring that back to your market. So you become the disruptor lender who's got an iPad, who's got Mortgage Coach, who knows what realtors like Nicole are doing and what they're thinking. You're a better loan officer. So again, don't go there and be an annoying, I'm trying to get how many business cards I could get and I want to close them. You're there to learn with them. So Nicole, super grateful for the time you invest in our community. Thanks for everything you're doing. Can't wait till the next call.
Yeah, see you soon.
All right, take it easy.